The Earth has endured numerous cataclysmic events over its existence, leading to drastic changes in its geography and ecosystems. Humanity, amid its long history, has narrowed down a list of 7 potential apocalyptic events that could shatter the Earth. These possibilities range from being drawn into an endless void to the appearance of a second star, potentially frying the planet. Whether it's the breakup of Pangaea or the asteroid that eliminated the dinosaurs, Earth has encountered significant apocalyptic events, causing geological shifts and heralding new eras for subsequent life forms. However, looming in the planet's future is a potentially devastating extinction event that might not only eradicate humanity, but also the Earth itself, ultimately reducing it to dust. One such catastrophic scenario involves the impact of a large asteroid into the oceans, superheating them and potentially triggering a hypercane of unprecedented force. This hypercane would unleash winds as fast as the speed of sound and propel water and aerosols into the stratosphere, leading to the destruction of the ozone layer and severe radiation hazards on the Earth's surface. Additionally, the event of Jupiter gaining thousandfold mass and turning into a star could significantly disrupt the solar system, causing Earth to be pulled closer and scorched by the intense heat, or potentially making it a rogue planet, drifting aimlessly in space and leading to the freezing over of the Earth's surface, rendering it uninhabitable. Looking ahead, the eventual depletion of the sun's hydrogen fuel will have severe repercussions. This depletion will cause the sun's core to shrink, leading to the expulsion of massive amounts of energy. Ultimately, the sun's outer layers will expand, triggering a lethal heat wave on Earth, evaporating the oceans and scorching the planet's surface. Eventually, the sun, once the source of life, will expand to swallow the Earth. In summary, these potential apocalyptic events underscore the precarious nature of our planet's future and the importance of understanding and mitigating the potential risks. What's left of our molten planet, and if the sun keeps expanding, our solar system will face a new threat. Oh man, it just keeps getting worse. If the sun gains even more mass before collapsing, you could witness the birth of one of the most mysterious forces in the universe. A black hole, the product of a dying star. The gravitational pull of this void can rip apart other stars and planets. Right now, the sun is too small to create one of these catastrophes. But if a black hole appears in front of Earth, the uneven gravitational pull would start deforming the planet. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions would break out all over the planet. As you come closer to the black hole's event horizon, this monster might stretch out this world like a rubber band. A black hole sucks in matter by compressing it horizontally, making it look like a noodle. We call this baguettification. Every bit of our planet would be stretched into a string of atoms and fed into this hungry void. Do you think Earth's future couldn't get any worse? Well, come on, this is What If? And right now, 10 to 20 volcanoes are erupting across our planet, spewing ash and gas into the atmosphere. But if every volcano on Earth exploded at once, you couldn't escape the fumes and heat, no matter where you live. Rocks reaching 1,000 degrees would travel as fast as 700 km. With such a massive amount of molten rock slamming onto the surface, the planet could lose its balance and the poles could realign. A thick layer of ash and gas would suffocate Earth and eventually block out all the sunlight. And while the lava cools, the temperature on Earth would drastically drop, sending us into another ice age. While this event wouldn't necessarily end our entire planet, it would destroy any chance of sustaining life until those clouds clear up. The Earth makes one full rotation on its axis every 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4.1 seconds, and it's not moving at the same speed everywhere. The rotational speed varies depending on your distance to the poles. If you're at the equator, it moves the fastest at a rate of 460 meters per second. At the North or South Pole, it's moving the slowest, technically not moving at all. This rotation makes Earth suitable for life. The day and night cycle, or the shifting between day and night, helps keep the planet at a habitable temperature. Earth's rotation is the driving force of weather patterns. Even tides are affected by the Earth's spin. So if we were to accelerate this rotation, would we completely destabilize the climate? If you increase the rotational speed by 0.45 meters per second, our days would be shorter. but only by a minute and a half. If you accelerated the Earth's rotation to 45 meters per second, days would shorten to approximately 22 hours, potentially leading to disorientation similar to jet lag. This change in rotation would also necessitate extending the length of a year. Additionally, sea levels at the equator would surge dramatically, leading to a substantial rise of 9 to 20 meters, resulting in the submergence of coastal areas like New York, Venice, and Mumbai, displacing millions. Now, if we doubled the current rotation speed to 920 meters per second, disaster would strike. Water would cover everything except for the highest mountains like Kilimanjaro or the highest summits of the Andes. Satellites orbiting the planet would be out of sync, disrupting communications, television broadcasting, and military operations. And you would notice some significant weather changes. The air would be heavy with moisture, dense fog, clouds, and constant rain would be the norm in regions near the equator. If you keep speeding things up, at some point you could fly off the planet. That's because the centrifugal force of the rotation would be enough to overcome the gravity keeping you on the surface. This would happen At this point, the text fragment seems to be incomplete. If you have more information to add, please provide it, and I can continue to assist you. I see that the text you've provided needs punctuation to improve readability. Speed of 7,886 meters per second, and you would experience reverse rain. Yeah, droplets of water would move upward in the atmosphere instead of falling. Now, if you push the speed to 11,000 meters per second, the Earth's crust would begin to flatten at the poles and bulge around the equator. Enormous earthquakes would rattle the planet. There would be little chance that anything on Earth could survive. But if you were to crank the velocity up some more, brace yourself, like to the speed of light, things would get wild. If the Earth rotated at a speed of 299,792,458, it would distort time on Earth. It would slow down so much that it would eventually stop. You would freeze in time. So, hopefully you'd be caught in a good moment. Earth could become a tiny black hole. That's because an object moving at the speed of light has an infinite mass. Yeah, nothing would be making it out of this situation alive. A Category 6 hurricane is about to rock New York. Category 5 is the highest classification a storm can get. These storms have wind speeds of 252 km or higher, and they're catastrophic. Homes get destroyed, large areas are rendered uninhabitable, and the power outages could last for weeks, even months. But with the warming effects of climate change on our oceans and atmosphere, a whole new classification could be added to the mix. Category 6, a superstorm. This powerful storm would dwarf a Category 5 storm, with its genesis occurring as a low-pressure system spawning clouds and thunderstorms in October. Over the span of several days, it would intensify from a tropical wave to a tropical storm, and eventually into a hurricane, growing in magnitude and force as it traverses the Caribbean. As it progresses towards Jamaica and Cuba, its strength would escalate, reaching Category 1 to 3 and potentially even Category 5. While normal storms typically veer away from New York, this one would pose a significant threat, bypassing the usual eastward path. 3 weeks after its onset, the storm would set new records as the most massive and strongest hurricane in history, making its initial landfall in New Jersey with wind speeds of up to 300 kilometers/. Hurricane Sandy, which hit the area in 2012, had wind speeds less than half of that, resulting in approximately 2 million power outages, $19 billion in damages, and 43 fatalities. In the case of a Category 6 hurricane striking New York, the devastation would be astronomically greater. The storm would exceed the size of half of the United States, leading to widespread chaos. Storm surges over 8 meters would cause rapid and perilous flooding across the city, from the beaches to the streets and tunnels. Without mass evacuations, millions would be stranded or at immediate risk of drowning. Subways would flood, sweeping away buses and cars, while wastewater plants would be affected, leading to untreated sewage mixing with local waterways. Those caught outside would be fighting for their lives, with powerful winds turning even the smallest objects into deadly projectiles, including shards of glass from damaged skyscrapers. The loss of power would plunge all of New York City and its nearly 9 million residents into total darkness, cutting off vital services like healthcare, transportation, and communication. Millions would be in desperate need of rescue. As the storm subsides, the city would be left devastated, with widespread destruction, power outages, and loss of life.